As if it wasn't enough, we are on day 4.
Oh.
And day 4, when Lindsay's doing her sort of promotion show on the Hoofing Marvellous page, after tomorrow, she's going to run out because she has to have.
I have to.
I can't hold the phone.
I know.
So you're going to have to employ Rachel for another 5 days.
I might have to, and then I'll have to go like this: 5 and 1. 6.
So, whilst everybody's joining us, yesterday I said I was in the car and I was thinking about a song that we should be playing in the background.
It's a kind of magic.
It's a kind of magic. The Phoenix Way. It's a kind of magic.
Did you see the lovely post by Ashley today and Stumpy? Did you see that?
That warms the heart, doesn't it?
That does warm the heart. So Stumpy,
it warms the heart.
Was in trouble. Stumpy was having a laminitic event and was in a lot of pain. Caroline, one of our HMB pros, went along, trimmed Stumpy the right way, took his heels down, got her on the right diet, sorted it all out, and then she videoed him today, and he was a cheeky little monkey, wasn't he? And you see him go onto the hard ground. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Ashley, if you're watching.
Phoenix Warriors.
Okay, so Vivian's here. She's here because she knows she's going to be asked questions. She's going to be, I know the answers. Vivian's so had all the answers last night. Hello, Vivian.
Okay, hello, who's still awake?
I'm still awake. Is that Becky?
I'm not sure.
Let
me go in and have a look. I'm not prepared.
No, he's not prepared.
I'm not prepared. I do apologise. I'll buck up.
No, he's not prepared.
No, we don't want it in stereo.
Don't want to hear myself coming back. God almighty. Don't want it. Well, just before Gary and I went live, it feels like only 5 seconds ago we were live on this page, and here we are again. Yes, it's Becky. I knew it had to be.
It is Becky, yeah.
Hi, I'm from Stranraer.
Where's that?
Where is that, Krista? Tell us where that is.
Where is that?
We don't know where that.
Somewhere that I've heard of.
No. Don't know where that is. Yes, so I was saying to Gary, it feels like only 2 seconds ago we were live, sat in this position on the show, and here we are again. Sarah's here. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Good to see you. Hope all's well with your pony today. Sandra's here. Hello, Sandra from Czech. Toya's here, of course. I'm here, but Dom is cooking.
I think that's amazing. So Dom not only makes sweets, he also looks after your horses, well, between you, and he cooks as well.
While you're listening to us babble on.
And listen to us babbling on.
Well, this is your version, isn't it, Toya, of the course? You're getting your information from us going live, and Dom gets his from us being pre-recorded. I mean, honestly, you can't keep away from us, can you? We must be making you all sick. Hi again from Canada. Hi, Anne. Good to see you.
Hi, Anne.
Becky Bragg's here. Evening. Who else we got? Krista says it's South. Oh, I was going to say Stranraer. Of course it is. Southwest Scotland. I thought because your name was Krista Mackinson, I somehow suddenly thought, I did say it with a slightly Scottish accent. Did you hear when I read it the first time? I went, Stranraer. Anyway, welcome from Scotland. Hi from the Peak District. Hello from the Peak District. Lovely Peak District.
Hi, Angela.
Kendall cake. Love it. Very sugary, but delicious. Trisha's back. Hi, guys. I'm back for more. So, exciting things happened in the middle of the night last night for me. It was the opening of...
It was in the middle of the night. When I woke up this morning, I thought, right, I better have a look before I get out of bed. So it was 6:30 in the morning UK time. I thought I better have a look and see if anything's going on before I have to get up and go to work. And oh my goodness, the 10-day challenge is up. Yay!
It is. Yay, the 10-day challenge is open. So no more.
It's open.
No more going, where the hell is it? It's now there. It's brand new and it's open. So I can't wait to get feedback from you guys, because the feedback...
You know, the 15-day one was pretty much the majority you.
Yes.
And you had a really positive feedback.
I did.
Now, I have to say, I'm feeling a little nervous.
Yeah, you ought to.
I am feeling a little nervous.
The 10-day...
Because I'm in the 10-day one, I'm in a lot.
You're in, I think, all of it, actually. I think the 10-day.
I think that I'm in it a lot. And I've got some big shoes to fill, I have to say.
Hey, yeah, you'd have to say that. You have to say that. Right, who's this? Who is this, Gary, that's saying, I've signed up and paid for the 10-day but haven't got anything yet? Help. Okay, we will help you. I've helped a couple of people.
That's Bonnie Doyle.
Oh, Bonnie. Right. Bonnie. Okay, so you've done your 15-day, but you haven't got your 10-day. Is that correct? Tell me if that's correct. And and in the magic of incredibly having two screens running while I'm talking to you, I can go and check to see what's going on, Bonnie. And right here, right now, I'm probably going to be able to work out what on earth is the problem. So let me just have a look.
So Bonnie's saying yes. And there's also Melissa that says, I need help with that too.
Right. Okay. So do me just hold on one. Yeah, I can see it going on there. I tell you what, this is new to us, right? So I'll tell you what the problem is. Gary hasn't got a clue. I'll tell you what the problem is.
Clue.
No, the problem is that not that it's a problem for you guys, but we're learning, because this is a whole new system for us. When you come into the school, you get tagged, and if you buy everything like good people, like good little children, you go and buy the 15-day and the 10-day at the same time, what happens is you get tagged with both. But when you go and buy them separately with a few days in between, poor old Lindsay forgets to tag you. And then what happens is once I've forgotten to tag you, I don't know you're doing the 10-day challenge. So it's a bit rubbish. So we need to sort out our system, and I shall be doing that tomorrow and working out how on earth I can do that tomorrow. And if you, just by the magic, the absolute magic of the internet and systems, if you go and look at your emails now, Bonnie, you should see it right now. You should see there is an email welcoming you to the 10-day. Go and look at your emails right now. Melissa. I need help with that too. Oh no, don't tell me the same things happen to you. It's going to be embarrassing if that's what's going to happen. This is like the support group. This is live support going right now. Oh my God. Melissa, where are you? Let's have a look at Melissa. Bonnie, tell us whether you...
But Melissa's saying that she bought it at the same time.
She did. Oh, yeah, she did as well. Oh, God. This poor.
Bonnie's very happy. She's got it.
Do you know what? I think I need to be sacked. This isn't I don't want to do this job. This is the worst bit. I don't want to do flipping systems. Right. Melissa, go and have a look at your emails. Go check it out. You should have access. Da, 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 da. I know you're all loving it. Vivian says, I'm watching from a bath. California 12
in
noon.
California 12 noon.
You're having a bath.
No, that's an image. That's a mental image.
In the middle of the day.
Mental image.
Stop it now.
I'm in the bath. in the bath. It's midday. I can just imagine you, Vivian, with a glass of prosecco, and then the absolute pinnacle of great company,
us,
of Lindsay and Gary.
don't drop us in the bath now. Don't do that.
Yeah, and don't spit your wine out.
No. Sarah says, I'm on the mainland just now. My farmer hubby, who has never been around horses, is at home looking after the pony, even giving him nightly grooms and picking out his feet. Gosh, got him well trained. Well done. It's marvellous.
That's called love, that is.
That is called love. Right. Yeah. What Sarah says, a week Monday, I'll sign up to the 15-day. Can't wait. Ooh. 15 days says 91% complete, but I've received my yes. Who's that? Who said that? That's because
there's a bit of a glitch on the system, but you have to have completed it, otherwise it wouldn't let you do the certificate.
Yeah, it wouldn't let
that's
you do
Bonnie
it.
Again. That was Bonnie again.
Sometimes what happens is that if you haven't like read everything and it hasn't seen you read everything and watch everything and do it all to the end, it'll like go, ooh, you've missed out 9% of it, but you haven't. It's all fine. Just ignore that. You've got yourself to the certificate stage, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Tricia says, no doubt Gary is going to rock these 10 days. Oh, pressure on, Gary. Pressure on.
No pressure. No pressure. I'm looking forward to the feedback, but then again, I'm not looking forward to the feedback.
Trying to see if the StreamYard is working. We're on StreamYard. It is working. It is working. Yes, not looking forward to the feedback. We are and we aren't. Who's that? Yay, that's Bonnie, isn't it? Solo's here. Yeah. Hello. Good to see you. Hello from Sweden.
Hi, Francis.
Hello from Sweden. Hello from Wales, South Wales. Hello from South Wales. No meal yet, but I will keep. Oh, it should be there. I've sent it. Go back and check again. It should be there. I've sent it to your standard one. Bear Mountain Acres is the one it's gone to. Vanya's here. Hello, Vanya. Hi, everyone. She says, Vivian says, there you go. Didn't want to miss it. Totally live. Totally live. So last night, we talked about, actually, before we do that, I just want to say to everybody, as you've worked out, because we're getting these systems sorted, the courses are incredible. I hope everybody's loved the 15-day. Like we said, the pressure's on all Gary for the next one. When you enroll, you may get a bunch of emails coming out. Now, the confusing thing that might confuse some people is that you will get the emails from the order site, which is not the same as the school platform site. That is a different email address. So you have to look out for emails from the HMI school. And if you hello from Albany, that's Kate, is it? If you look out for those emails from the HMI school, it'll say that the first thing you'll get is you've been enrolled and there's a password reset. You have to do that first, just to let you know. If you get bombarded with emails, unfortunately, I think certainly one person already's got a bit confused as to where they're meant to be going to watch the course. And we've had a bit of a funny little glitch with the mobile app. If you're using the mobile app, can you let us know? Hey, see? Magic. Right, so last night we had a look at the solar corium, didn't we? And we liked that, and we had a little talk about the crenna and the papillae and the frog papillae, and the fact that they all sit in these little sockets, and it's beautiful. Biology is beautiful. And I do feel, and I said this on the HM live earlier, I do feel that we get the equine world gets so involved with thinking about biomechanics, thinking about performance, because that's where the biomechanic thing came from, thinking about performance, not fully understanding the fact that we have a four-legged animal. Also, these people, the equine world is also confused about the way the horse lands, puts its feet. So that doesn't bode well. But I do feel that people forget biology, the physics of biology, that people tend to, there's an awful lot of people, the last time they did any biology was when they were at school. And I think that biology is forgotten about a lot. And biology, the way that the organ systems work, the way everything works, is so incredible that we must not forget that. And I think with hoof care, one of the biggest things we forget is how the hoof grows, how it grows, the effects on that growth. Now, too many people that have been out in the science world, that have just done science on cadaver legs, frankly, dead animals, have come up with various assumptions that lamina gets torn, etc. And we've proved it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. And that you need that feedback from the hoof wall all the way to the coronary band. And people jump on us and go, oh no, the horse is going to trip. Well, they don't. And then they jump on us and they go, well, it's going to change the strain the tendons. And it doesn't, right? It doesn't, because the horse knows where its feet is, and they're balanced. It's not long that way from the coronary band down. That's when a horse will trip. It's just long that way. So what you've done effectively is you've increased the surface area for that horse to stand on, which is no bad thing, I have to tell you, is no bad thing at all. And we've proved over and over and over again that it doesn't tear the lamina. And these horses have better transitions, and they have safer transitions, and their P3 is safe. Because once you've gone through the 10-day challenge, folks, those of you that are doing it, you will understand more about balance, about the trim, about understanding it. And one of the fundamental issues when you take the toe off the horse's foot, because you've forgotten about biology, it's all about physics, which doesn't apply, I'm afraid, to the way the horse walks. You've forgotten about that, so you take the toe off. You have a problem, a big problem. What's that problem, Gary, when you take the toe off, when we're talking about balance?
Well, you've got nothing to balance to. You can only balance the heels. So it's arbitrary. There is nothing to balance to, and at best it is a guess. So you can have the sole will start to callus. That the horse will do what it will adapt its foot the best it can under the circumstances that the human has put it in.
The trauma.
And yeah, and yes, so it's reacting to that trauma for sure. So if you can't, yes, you can balance the heels, but if you can't balance from the heels to the toe, then how are you thinning the sole? If that rasp touches that sole, do you know how thick that sole is? Absolutely not.
No.
You are guessing. You are guessing.
You are guessing.
Yeah.
And the problem that you have is that if you're guessing about that, the chances are you're also guessing about the heels, which means you're believing the heels a little bit too high. And then, so that's a little bit underrun. So you're shortening that surface area. Yep. Then you're taking the toe off, making it even smaller again. And I was in a conversation today with Bethan. Many of you know Bethan from Gorsworth Track Livery. I think she's gone to the pub tonight, Gary. So lucky her, right? So she's not with us tonight, I don't think. And she's rehabbing. She's got a new rehab in, and he had very long heels, underrun heels. Didn't look long because it was compacted, and it looked like he had like a little foot like that. And then, of course, when he was trimmed correctly and the heels were brought back And she's not been able to, or Wexford, talking about Wexford, he's not been able to have his toe trimmed, obviously, because there's no toe wall on the ground. You've got to leave it alone. She put the two images up side by side. It was like two different feet. It was like one foot was the original foot, which looked like this. You didn't, and then the next foot looked like this. She said, it just looks completely different. And I said, I know. And that's because you've put it where it needs to be. And suddenly you've given him this wonderful surface area to walk on. And you're not guessing now. Now you're putting his bony column where it needs to be. I mean, it is one of, I'm just looking at some of my images, see if I can find an image for you. But it is one of the most frustrating things that we find is that when the hoof care professional removes the toe, and I've got a good picture here I'm going to show you. So I'm going to bring this one up. Let's just present that. Share screen, window. Bear with me, viewers. Boom. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. We like to ask questions, don't we? So what is going on with this foot, folks? Tell us what's going on with this foot. What can you see going on here? What can you see going on here? This is a foot that has been trimmed like this. This is not a foot that just wore itself like this. You will never find, not in the history of the world, a horse that would trim their foot like this. And therefore, we need to ask ourselves questions. Why are we trimming horses' feet like this? So what do we see here? Tell us what you see. Are we getting any responses yet? Have they all gone to sleep? They've all gone to sleep. Everyone's gone to sleep. Be brave. Speak up, children. Thick toe callus.
Thick toe callus.
Yes. Well, maybe.
That is from Bonnie.
Bonnie. We don't see a lump, though, do we, Bonnie? We don't see that telltale lump, which would show us that we might have a callus. In fact, you can, if you look here, you can see the thickness of the sole. The wall is short, says Anne Chopra. I know what you're saying. Angela Holland says separation, long bars, and an uneven heel. Well, you can't make the long bars correct, separation correct. You can't make the judgment on the heel because you're not in the right position to make that judgment on the heel. That would have to be from the back. You'd have to turn that foot around and look at it from the back and then look at that mediolateral imbalance. But you were right on the other things. Stretched and toe gone, says Sarah. Yes. The horse having to walk on its sole. Yes, says Vivian. No wall on the ground at the toe, says Becky Bragg. Exactly. Right? You've got it. Look at Ismet. Can you see my cursor moving around now?
Yeah.
That's weird. This evening, it's now allowing me to put that. Oh, I'm so fascinated by technology. I'm doing that on the StreamYard screen now. Right, great. Okay. So here, just here, you can see that there is stretch. What does that mean?
Give it a bit of a wiggle because it's small on our screen. That's it. Good.
Let me see if I can get it a little bit. I wonder if I can get there's a crosshair now. Hold on one moment, viewers. Let's see what I can do here. See if I can make here. See that? Let's just make
the picture.
Let me make that thicker. Here is stretch. Do you see that? This is a stretched white line. Now, had that wall been left in place, that stretch would have been out here somewhere. In fact, it would have gone off the end of the page, wouldn't it? But because there is a fear in laminitis, because this we've got this big long toe now. There's this fear that if you leave that wall in place, you are going to have torn lamina, which I'll tell you why this is, it's not funny for the horse, but why this is amusing in a minute. So they chop it off, right? So they chop, oh, where's it gone? So they chop it off. Can you still see that? Are we still all right? I don't know why that's right. So they chop it off, but they chop it off. This doesn't go away. So they've chopped it off because they don't want it to strain, to stretch any more lamina, but this doesn't grow out. It doesn't. So that didn't work. So why are we still doing it? Not only has that caused a problem, let's look at other things first. Let's look at the other things that were noted. So we've got long bars there. Yeah, you can see them. These are the long bars, and they folded over, which means that here we're not at the right area, seat of core. We can't possibly be, because the bars are so long that we're not in the right hard sole plane. So the heels themselves would end up going back a little bit more. So the heels aren't at the right height. All right. So that means that the horse is tipped forward a little bit. Plus, they've removed this. Now, what's going on here? So this wall here is above the hard sole plane. Hard to tell with this one, but it kind of looks below the hard sole plane. We're getting a bit of a weird trim going on here. And right here, right now, this is so far away from the ground, this is getting absolutely no stimulation whatsoever. And what's living all the way up here in the coronary band? We saw some of them last night when we were looking at the the dermis of the sole. Little tiny, here they are. La 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 la. What are they? I draw them that way, that's actually better. What are these little things here that are creating the hoof wall? And there's many, many, many of them. What are those called? Can anybody remember?
But they're all trying to find out how to spell it.
We're all trying to find, and you're Googling. Stop Googling. It's cheating. Don't Google. I'll give you a clue. Begins with a P. Begins with a P.
Oh, well done, Jeanette.
Jeanette's like, I know my stuff.
Vivian.
Yeah.
Oh, they're on it. Amber.
Yeah, so they're all coming up with it. They're all coming up with it. So it's papillae which make the horn tubules. Because somebody said there, Becky said tubules. So they make, so the papillae are only this long, right? And they make the tubules. Now, here's the really clever thing, right? Here's a tubule. I haven't got them in the right direction now, so I'm pretend those are facing. Oh God, Lindsay, you are such an idiot. Right, pretend that they're facing down the hoof, right? And here they are. These are all the papillae, and they've got a blood vessel. They've got a nerve. They got a blood coming in. They got blood going out. They got a nerve. Why would they have a nerve? This is a really interesting question, all right? Because each one of those creates a horn tubule, right? And this hollow horn tubule, stay put, and this hollow horn tubule goes all the way down to the ground. All the way. It's complete. Now, these can get fractured by nails, cracks. Jeanette says feedback, right? Because guess what's happening now? There's no feedback. Now we know that this is true because there's something that gives it away on the horse's foot that tells us that these are not getting stimulated, these papillae, because they're not, something happens to the foot. This is we're getting in depth now. What is it that happens to the foot that stops that feedback? Obviously, we've taken that shows us that feedback has been interrupted. There's something happens now. Something happens to the front end of this foot. All of this, something happens to, compared to this. What happens? It's not flare. Yes, feedback, says Vivian. It's not flare. Or maybe I'll rephrase it. Something goes out of balance now. We've not even talked about what's going on with P3. That's coming in a minute. Something goes out of balance between the front and the back. Yes, it doesn't stop altogether, but it slows the growth down, right? And we know that, and I'll show you why we know that, because here is a hoof wall. Look at that. I've got so good at doing that now. That's about as good as it'll get. Here we have the coronary band, right? What bunches up, Becky? You are correct, but what bunches up? So this horse has had its toe chopped off, right? And so therefore it's walking on that bit there. But this bit isn't on the ground anymore. So what's going on here? How do we know that we've got a disparity in growth rates? It is the growth. I don't know if I can write that. Look. Oh, look at me. Oh, growth rate. Oh, I went to pieces then. Boom. Growth rates, right? What is going on? Lack of stimulation slows the growth. It does. It does. But how do we know that, right? Because I could just tell you that and you'd be like, oh, we know because we go to trim a foot like this. This foot we'd go to trim and we'd be forever doing the heels and we would never. Sandra couldn't take it any longer. She's jumped in. Sandra's one of our HMB pros. She couldn't take it any longer. She's jumped at event lines. Excellent. So now we've got a situation where we've got slow growth. And Gary and I would go to a foot like this and no word of a lie, months and months and months will pass. You know that a whole hoof capsule, the growth of the wall from the top to the bottom, is roughly about 1 centimetre a month. And depending on the size of the horse's foot, will depend on how much. But we can say about 9 to 10 months is going to be a full hoof capsule is going to grow out. Yes, Sarah, it is. The heels are growing at the right rate. People always go in laminitis, the heels are growing so fast. They're not. They're growing at the normal rate. What slowed right down is the toe. And we know that because of this. These, ooh, here's the hoof rings, right? Now, normally, hoof rings would do this, wouldn't they? If that toe wall was on the ground, you'd see your hoof rings do that, wouldn't you? I hope you're all. Are you nodding at home? Nod, so I can see you nodding. Right. But what happens when you chop the toe off and you remove it is this happens. Ooh. And that is called diverging rings. Now, you'll be told that the reason that happens is because the horse is laminitic. The reason that it's happening is because they've removed this feedback. They've removed this feedback here. So this has gone yawn and it's slowed right down. Whereas the little papillae, so here we've got all the papillae. Oh, no, stay where you are. We've got little papillae. Oh, let me just do that in a thinner thing. Oh, stop it. Here they are, these little papillae in the coronary band, and they're making their hoof wall. I don't know if you can probably see them very well. Probably made that too thin. There's hundreds of them. I'm only drawing in a very, very few. And they're the ones that produce the horn tubules. Now, the ones up here are getting no stimulation, and this hoof slows down, the growth rate slows down, whereas this is still going at the same growth rate. And that's why you get diverging rings. Now, there are people on the internet. The old-fashioned is another myth for you, because it's full of it in the equine world. The myth, so we've had this myth. We've had myth number 1. You've got to chop it off because it tears the lamina. Wrong. It doesn't. Stop it. It doesn't do that. Myth number 2, it strains tendons. No, it doesn't. Myth number 3, the horse will trip. No, they don't. We're moving on. We've got lots of myths. And here's another one. The reason that these hoof rings are all bunched together like that is because, and you'll be told, compression. That if you leave the toe wall on the ground, this is pulling this up and compressing these together. I'd love to know how that is an absolute biological possibility on hard horn that is already made, because these guys are bunching up here. They're made here. They're bunching here. So they've been bunched all the way down. This doesn't happen if Gary and I were to trim, or any of our students were to take a horse that had its toe on the ground and its toe was out here. You wouldn't see these bunching up event lines because this is on the ground. It might look a little bit long, right? Because we've got separation. So we've got a toe that's going out here. Oh dear. Hang on. So it may look a little bit long, but that's okay. There it is. It's here. Right, let's just say that this is the separation we've got. This is going to do my head in because it's separated. But that, you will not get diverging hoof rings with that. Now, if they were correct and this was compressing this, then you would, but you don't. And the reason they don't know that is because nobody ever leaves the toe wall on the ground except us. And therefore we get beautiful not beautiful because we don't want them there, but rings that are even, because the growth rate of the heel and the growth rate of the toe, no matter how long the toe is all even and balanced. That is crucially important. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because when these bunch up, sometimes they bunch up so badly that they will actually, now if I draw another hoof wall, this is a foot that's been so buggered about with. And here's the coronary band. This bit here, where it's got so many bunched up rings, is pinching down into the coronary band. Because this is just a big lump of nothing going on now. Just a big lump of nothing. Do people understand that? And I'm going to give you an example right now, if I can find it. All right. Is everybody happy with what I'm saying? Oh, before I give you that example, can I present and share it? No, I can't. Before I give you that example, we haven't spoken about the final thing here, which is actually the bit that is the most scariest bit of all of this that's going on. And that is P3. Is located around about 1 centimetre in front of the true point of the frog. So about, oh, don't press so hard, about here. That is where P3 is. Where is this horse walking on? Alison Franks says, what led you to do the opposite to all other teaching and leave the toe? It partly was a bit of a mistake, actually. It was because way back in the day when I began my work, I'd learned obviously about the natural foot, but I'd been swayed by the likes of many people on the internet about the same problem about taking the toe off. And I found that horses were not what people tell you, that they're brilliant and they're fine and everything works out. It doesn't. Many of them are sore. Many of them have to stay in boots for a long time and they're sore. And I didn't even take toes off like this. But I was rehabbing quite a lot of acute laminitis. But because I was so damn busy, I didn't get the opportunity to trim my horses as often as perhaps I should have done. And one day I was going to trim one of my laminitis who was motoring around the tracks. I hadn't really looked at her feet much. And she came in and, well, it was a he. And I'm like, oh, you need your toe removing because your hoof, because I've got this big bit of separation. And then I thought, but he's absolutely sound as a pound. I'm not going to remove that. I'm going to just balance his foot, leave it there. It wasn't tripping, no problem. And you know what? He grew out that separation lickety-spick, like faster than I'd ever done any of it before. Of course he did, because this hoof wall was growing at the right rate. Okay. So then I go, I'm going to try this out with others. And blow me, Mother Nature was correct. Every single time, they just kept recovering better and better and faster and faster. I was brave enough to just go, we're not going to do this. And what had actually happened was that I had been taught about the natural foot, but I'd kind of, just like other people, gone, yeah, but just a little bit off the toe, just take a little bit off, just relieve the toe. And then I realized what I was doing. And then, of course, being a scientist, I looked into it more and I understood about the biology. And now, of course, it's obvious, isn't it? When you come out the other end, and we've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these, right? Hundreds. This is how Gorsworth do their rehabs now. And she has fantastic results. Faster, safer, sounder, kinder rehabs. But above all else is this. Boom. Right there. This is the thing. This is the thing that is the problem. And what is that? It's the tip of P3, right on P3, 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 P3. We all need to hear this and advocate during our horses trim. The power of observation, reasoning, and courage to trust. Absolutely, Alison. 100%. 100%. And then I'm doing my own trials, aren't I? My own scientific trials, my own research. And because I had so many acute laminitic ponies, I was able to do that. So what's going to happen to P3? So this is what P3 should look like. This is P3. That's the bone inside. And what is going to happen to P3? If we stick it like that, we're raising the heels and not even raising the heels. And here's the sole, because they've removed the wall. What's going to happen? Yeah, necrosis. And so basically P3 looks like this, because it loses its lovely little tip. It disappears. And it goes further and further and further. And it's a travesty, and it's human error. And this is the human error right here. And it's shocking. And sadly, Gary and I are seeing more and more of it. And I think people think that we get a bit militant about it. My God, we're the only people speaking up for horses right now who are suffering like this because of this ridiculous, old-fashioned, outdated, bogus science that I have proved over and over and over again. Not just me now. Lots of other people have proved it too. So It's very, very important. But going back to, let's just get rid of this for a minute. Let's just stop my screen share. Is everybody liking this? Let me show you
I
this.
think so.
Let me show you this. Blum, 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 blum. This is just one example that we have at the moment. Everybody see that? Gary loves this because he's like, I don't know what picture she's going to put up. What picture is she going to put up? All right, what we got going on here then? Now that I've told you all that you need to know, what's going on here? And why is this doing this funny little thing that it's doing? Throwing protection over P3, callus buildup occurs, which people want to take off. Hoof trying to protect. Yeah, Anne, the hoof is in trauma and it's got no pillar of support. So it's going, damn it, I got to put in a pillar of support somewhere. Divergence, chop toe, heel too high, toe chop. Yes, this is a very, very, very incredibly typical scenario we come along across all the time. Diverging chop toe, yes. So let's go through it, shall we? Very quickly. I don't know where my thingy's gone. Where's my stop it. Why won't it come back? Oh, here it is. I just needed to get onto the foot. Let me do it like this. All right, so what you have here is oh no, that's too thin. Sorry. So what you have here is you've got rings, beg your pardon. I'm very close. Doop. Doop. Do you see? Ooh. Here's another one. Sorry, I'm trying to follow the line of the ring, but I'm not succeeding very well because I can't draw. I'm a bit wobbly with me draw. You should try doing this with a trackpad. Do you see? Do you see what's happening? Now, that is not happening because of compression, because if it was compression, then why the hell is it happening still now they've taken the toe off? I mean, honestly, think sensibly. People, think about it. You've taken the toe off. So therefore, you've stopped the compression. Why is it still happening? Because I guarantee that this toe has been removed over and over and over again. And it's ugly, isn't it? What are they doing? They're just rasping down. They've gone through the outer hoof wall, the inner hoof wall. We're now into the epidermal lamina. Nothing, no hoof wall is on the ground. Now, had they let this horse do its thing, that's the foot that they would have had. And it would have actually been like that, because this toe heel is too high. And we know that because that is practically straight. We also know that not only is that practically straight, but we're getting that here in the quarter. Why? Because this is active and it shouldn't be. We have 2 points at the heel and 1 point at the toe. This horse's pillar of support has completely gone. Yes, it is underrun because it's going that way. It is the only way that heels can go. And in fact, if these heels were taken back to where they should be and balanced correctly, the heel would actually be more upright, in fact. Brutal. It is brutal. Do you want a front shot? I put it up on the HM page the other day. This is the front shot. You get a good view of what's going on here. Boom. See it? There you go. There's your pretty front shot. Now, what you're seeing here, I don't know if I can blow this up and really show you. Do you see those little white spots? See the little white spots? Do you know what those little white spots are? Shall we ask them, Gary? What are the little white spots that you see?
Yes, what are the little white spots?
Looks like exposing laminar wedge and white line too. Yeah. Bethan. Oh, Bethan's, what are you doing? You shouldn't be here. You're in the pub.
I thought you were in the pub.
You're meant to be in the pub. Stop it now. Hello from Cumberland, Cumbernauld, beg your pardon. Hello. Capillaries. Who said that? No, it's not capillaries, but
That's Giselle.
Lovely, good, but it wasn't capillaries. Jolene says tubules. Ooh, could be right, could be right. Sarah says capillaries. Nope. Tubules. Alison Frank says, ooh, could be right. Tubules. Yes. Okay, so it's tubules. So these. Hold on a minute. I do beg your pardon. Where's my little picture gone? Where's she gone? There we are. So these tubules, let's get even closer. That's about as close as I can get. Right? You see them all? Do you see all these little ends of white? They are indeed the ends of hollow tubules. And the pigment that you see in your horse's foot is what's in between these tubules. The tubules themselves, which are made by the papillae, are hollow. And each one of these tubules is connected to a papillae, every single one of them. And do you notice there's a gradient that these tubules get fatter the closer inwards you get towards nature's horseshoe, which is the waterline. So those are all papillae that you see there. And those papillae are all connected to a, sorry, not papillae, what am I talking about? Those are all tubules. And those are all connected to their own individual papillae up in the coronary band. And they've all now not got a job to do because they should have been down here on the ground. And they're not.
No communication at all.
And that, my friends, is why this is all bunching up. And not just that, you can actually see here that it's bunching up so bad now that this horse is getting a big crease right here. A nasty, nasty crease, which is painful because it pushes down into the coronary band. There is the crease. What do we see here? So we see epidermal lamina. We see infection. We see cracks break. Oh, it moves it. We see cracks appearing everywhere. We see big holes in the epidermal lamina where lovely little pathogens all get in and go, yum, yum, yum. Let's have a party in there. And this bit here is the sole. And they're so keen to go through this epidermal lamina that they will also hit dermal lamina or the ends of stretched dermal lamina. And there's something very, very important in here. And there are other little papillae that live right at the end of these lamina here. And those papillae are called terminal papillae. And those create part of the white line. And we've gone so far back now, we probably removed them. I've got my toes curled. What shape are they under a microscope? This is hoof mutilation. Yeah, it is. And the coronet is horizontal or worse. Yes. Is there any difference between the crease and the new angle of growth coming in? Did you see the other image that I showed a minute ago, Bethan? Stumbling, probably poor feeling of the ground. Terrible. Look here. What is on the ground? Do they regenerate? Oh, yeah, Trisha Ann. So they're being formed all the time, but now slowly. Has any of you, if I say to you, have you ever been to what? I don't know whether they have this in any other place in the world except the UK, which is why I'm going to say it. But have you ever been to an amusement arcade? And when you were a kid, this was the game that I always loved to play on more than anything else if I had a few pennies that were given to me. And if you go to an amusement car arcade, they're normally round, these things, and you stick pennies in and they roll down and they hit a shelf that's constantly moving in and out like this. And the penny goes down, and your hope is that the penny will hit, not go on top of other pennies, but it will sit next to another penny and it will push the penny off because it keeps pushing up against a wall, and all the pennies drop off. Yes, and the pennies fall, don't they, onto another level. And when those pennies fall onto that level's doing the same, and it pushes. It fascinated me when I was a kid. Fascinated me, as you can probably tell. And then eventually that pushed it off, and if you were lucky enough that you just hit it right, suddenly a great shower of pennies would drop into the bottom. Does anybody remember that except me and Jeanette? Does anybody remember the penny falling, like the penny arcade thing? Well, this is what papillae do. Okay, they are producing these keratinocytes that are around the papillae, and it's continually being produced. It doesn't stop, right? It is being produced, but the growth of it is the rate of them being produced slows right down. Not in the colonies, and it slows right down, and so consequently, this is the response that you get. That they've lost their way. They've completely and utterly lost their way.
It takes a long time. There's a horse that I was working with fairly recently, and he had many visits from top hoof care professionals until it was almost last chance saloon. I wouldn't say that his hoof was trimmed that far up from the image that we'd just seen, but there was lamina exposed and right the way through the outer hoof wall and the waterline. And I worked with this horse for 18 months. And the toe, or the hoof wall at the toe, was only just getting to touch the ground. It doesn't always take that long. It really does depend on the horse and how often the toe's been taken back, how long that foot has been without that stimulation, that feedback to that all-important papillae. So there's still variables with regards to how it grows out, but that was 18 months when we know the hoof wall grows at around about 1 centimetre a month. So if we know that, how can chopping the toe be a sensible thing to do? I don't get it. It is not logical. And
it's old-fashioned, bogus science. Look here, do you like this? This is the other foot. Look at this. This is beauty. Look at that. This is the other foot. I know, it's heartbreaking. It breaks my heart.
I have got a really, really rude way of putting this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it in a nicer way.
Gary. Keep it
clean. I'll keep it. We'll go dirty for private.
This is
hoof care like this is a bugger's muddle.
But it's versions of this. We see it everywhere. Versions of this.
Oh yes, it is.
You only need to take the wall away from being on the ground a little bit, and you've still affected all the same problems, and you've still put P3 into a terrible position where it is going to go into osteonecrosis. But this, there you go. So you can see now. You can see this pinching. This is very bad. And we come along, we sort the heels out, we leave the toe completely alone, and over a period of 4 to 8 weeks, we start to see what we call a relaxing. It goes, oh, doesn't it, Gary? It's almost like the foot starts to just breathe, and suddenly it's just moving along.
It sounds wishy-washy. It just wakes up, and that's why we like to take many photos, because when it's growing out, the feet look even more funky. And I say when these things are happening, you've got the laminitis, but the hoof care is the human's responsibility.
Well, and the laminitis, but the laminitis, the owner's responsibility is the laminitis, and the hoof care is either the owner or the trimmer. But let me tell you this, or the farrier. Let me tell you, if you don't know this stuff, then how on earth can you advocate for your horse? This is what that foot looks like underneath.
It's shocking, isn't it?
Oh, shocking.
So much compacted sole at the back of that foot.
And they've given up here. Look, they've had a good old scrape with the knives badly.
Good old scrape and think, oh no, that'll do.
That'll do. Those heels should be back here.
That's like being in stilettos for months and months and months and months.
I think Bethan, if she's still watching, will tell you that this is what Wexford's foot looked a bit like. So that they should be. You see, actually, what's happened here is the periople has found its way down. So the periople has got very long. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. It's weird. Ooh. I do not know what's going on here. The periople has got itself overgrown like everything else. This is too much. Everything is too much. So the heels should be down here, way back here, which would be taking off the pressure here. So here you can see a little dent. What's P3 underneath there? Poor horse. Poor horse. So sad. And this horse will never recover. And what will happen is it'll never recover because everybody's lost their way. And just this horse will get necrosis. Now, only the other day, we were sent x-rays of a lady. I shan't mention any names, but this lady was on the Phoenix group, and she's in a desperate state with her pony because she's trying to do all the diet and management right, but the pony's always sore. And so I was talking to her privately, and she showed me pictures of the feet, which I can't show you, and they were being chopped off at the toe. And I said to her, and the heels were being left. And I said to her, you've really got to have x-rays done, because if you don't have x-rays done, we don't know whether we can help you. Because we don't want to know. We know where P3 is. That's not why we want x-rays done. We're hoof care professionals. If you don't know where P3 is in the hoof, you shouldn't be touching a hoof. I know where it is. I want to know what it looks like. I want to know how bad P3 is. This person had it was in the UK, and they'd had their horse trimmed like this by a barefoot trimmer, a barefoot trimmer, well, just a barefoot trimmer, and they had removed the toe, and they'd been doing it for a period of 3 or 4 years, quite a long period of time. So I'm like, oh, we need to see x-rays. So she was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, because if you want our help, we don't know whether we can help you. So, or whether we can help the pony. So she had x-rays done, and guess what we saw?
Pedal bone had been reduced by at least a third. That's never going to recover.
Never. It'll never recover. Do you know something? I wonder one day what will happen if one day, because really, who's caused this? It's human error. They've done it, and I wonder one day what will happen. We're just out here telling you what's going on, right? This is our job, to teach you so that you can stop it. You can stop it. We teach you this. We've got our challenges. You know, if you like this sort of stuff that we're putting out on the lives, just wiping the dust off the top of my screen. If you like this sort of stuff that goes out on the lives, you need to get on the challenges, because will blow your mind. It'll blow your mind, because we talk about all of this sort of stuff. But one day there's going to be a lawyer out there, I think, and his or her partner is going to, or even their own horse is going to have this situation where their horse is going to be so damaged because of this kind of hoof care that they will never be able to recover. And I think what will happen is they will sue, because quite rightly so, they caused a humongous, horrible error. They did a horrible error, and they've mutilated this horse's foot, and it will never regrow at P3. Now, what will happen if that happens? Well, they'll get experts in, and unfortunately for the owner, the experts will say, no, that's the protocol. You need to take the toe off. Nobody's done any research on osteonecrosis, and yet it's been that massive elephant in the room for so long. But gradually, people who do this will be asked to leave, because you guys will say, you don't ever do that to my horse ever again. Go away. I'm getting somebody who knows what they're doing, because you don't know what you're doing. Gary and I have x-rays upon x-rays upon x-rays of osteonecrosis.
It's almost getting to the stage where we're having this information come in on a weekly basis. If that's not something to wake up the horse world, I don't know what is. It's like the rest of the profession are sticking their head in the sand. They're being ostriches. They really are. It is
like being, and I'll tell you,
horrible.
And I'll tell you this, and we've said this all along, you know, HMR, we're seen as pariahs because we don't follow the party line, right? We don't do what everybody else does, because we know. And it's difficult to be that person. It's difficult to be us, because we are on the edges, and everybody throws stones at us, because it's like, you're not doing what we do. Stop it. Stop it. And when we go, no, we're not doing what you do, because this is what you're causing. And they're like, oh, shut up. Shut up. No, don't say that. And it's awful. I have come into this equine world as not a horsey person, right? I feel I've been in horses now for 25 years, but I came into it as a teacher, as a science teacher, and I was gobsmacked at how they just know nothing. Right back in those early days with Sonny, in those very early days, in those I can see it now. I can see Sonny getting his x-rays with his dreadful feet. And I'm saying to the vet, he's worse on his hind feet. The vet's saying to me, don't get laminitis in the hind feet. I'm like, well, that's weird, because I'm a biologist, and even that's a bit odd. Is there something divided down the middle or something? And then when the x-rays came out, and I remember standing in the surgery with him and having the x-rays up on the because back then it wasn't digital, and we had them up on the, you know, his white box, you know, and they clip them up. And he's like, oh, you know, you're right. He has got rotation in his hind feet. Now, I didn't know what rotation. I didn't know at that point then that rotation was caused again by humans. I didn't know that. I just thought rotation was what happened with laminitis, because that's what they believed and that's what they told me. And everything they told me, from how to feed him, how to keep him. He was a Shetland, a tiny Shetland, and they made and nailed on little heart bar shoes, which we've still got, thick as you like. We bring them out on the workshops. And here he is. I've got him on my wall. Look at his heels. Oh, my darling, they might make me cry. This is Sonny. Oop. And that's Poppet. That's Poppy. He she died of an accident that happened with another horse, which I'm not going to go into now, which was very sad. But he died of a similar thing, really. But he had dislocated his. He didn't have an accident, but he dislocated his hip joints. But he lived 22 years after this. What is yes, Coke cans. Do you see them?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you see them? Coke cans. He was the one who taught me way back at the beginning to not listen to what the vets are telling me, because I found Jamie Jackson and I found Hildred Strasser way back then. And if you've signed up to my newsletters, you'll know, because I tell you the story. And and they saved his life. I saved his life by reading those books. And I had nobody to help me. I had nothing. I had nothing like these challenges. I didn't have anything to help me. Nobody was there to guide me other than me finding these books. And I remember I said to my farrier, look at this book. It's so interesting. You've got to read it. And he was like, nah, thanks. So shocking. So shocking. I call them park hooves. You dare not to be a sheep. And the rest of the flock feels threatened, and the response to that is to criticize you. Oh, yeah. I had a really nice one the other day. I was actually not feeling so good the other day because it hurts me too. And Gary, we get hurt by it. And the other day, somebody wrote up, everybody thinks you're a laughing stock. The professionals in the equine world think you are a laughing stock. And I shared it, didn't I, to our little group. And I went, there you go. I blocked him because I don't want negative energy like that. And I blocked so many people because we don't need them. And I think that's also another thing, that we don't have other professionals that we align with that are in the traditional world. I don't know whether you noticed, but Renee Tucker put a message up for us on our Phoenix page today in the morning. And she said, I'm an equine vet. I've been an equine vet for 25 years. And I can tell you, we don't get taught this stuff at school. And I 100% endorse Hoofing Marvellous. There you go. Thank you, Renee, if you're watching at all.
Lovely lady. Lovely lady. But she, I think it's worth highlighting that she came to us late in her career. And when she went through the original online course before it became the challenges, she was really upset about all of the things that had happened in her career that she could have prevented. That's a really hard pill to swallow. That really is. And for her to come out and say that, oh my God, if only I'd have known this 25, 30 years ago, that takes a big person to do and say that. It really does. It really does.
It makes me get mad at them when they do that to you. I know we annoy because we're disruptors, right? And I know that the only way we will wake the world up is by being disruptive. Okay, so we do put pokey posts up. We do say, don't do this, stop it, learn. And we get people come on and they're going, oh no, stop it, you're wrong. But they can't come up with any evidence at all that proves us wrong. And yet we have tons that prove them wrong. Absolutely case studies coming out of our ears. When I chat to Bethan sometimes, or when I chat to my students, any of my students, and they ask a question about something, I can go, as you know, because you see these lives now, I can go and find a picture to illustrate exactly what we're talking about like that. Straight away. They can't. It was Renee who was my final push to really look at your work. She is a really thoughtful vet. Oh, well, that's
Cheers.
interesting. Thank you. And say thank you to Renee. I'm so grateful for you, Gary, the magazine, HM and the Phoenix Pay. Back when I knew to question the vet, the Barefoot Horse Mag was my only hope, and you answered me. And now here we are. Thank you. Oh, it's nice, isn't it? There's my magazine. Hey, there it is. All the Maggies. Poor thing. That I don't have an awful lot to do with that right now because my daughter's the editor of the magazine. Because I'm so busy saving the world. Oh, Gary and we need super Lindsay and super Gary.
Don't ask me to put my pants on the outside. Not happening.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll just keep on. People ask us why are we so. I don't know. I'm driven. We're driven. Both of us are driven. When you experience, it's a bit PTSD actually. When you experience what we've seen and how bad it is, and you know how you can help these animals, you end up being driven. And I'm just glad we took the plunge and started the Phoenix group, because I think this is going to be an absolute game changer.
I do too.
100% game changer. I'm so glad we did it. And I'm so glad you guys are here. And I'm so glad you come and watch all our lives, because thank you. Thank you. Education is the key. What she said, here are some vets fighting to change this against the others. Not every vet is bad. No. Education is key. You don't know what you don't know. Now we know. I know. Great group. Thank you, Anne. Absolutely fabulous. Thank you. All right, folks, shall we go? We've chatted to you. We'll be here again tomorrow night, and we'll be like, it feels like yesterday we were here. Because it is.
I was when I was driving around today, I've got a little note for us to finish today on. I came up with I've come up with a triple trifecta for success in the horse world. Okay, for horse owners, horses individually. So the first trifecta is friends, forage, and freedom. We've heard that before if we're in the barefoot world, haven't we?
Of course we have, yeah.
Then the second trifecta is diet, management, and correct hoof care. How do we get that? And how do we advocate for our horses? Knowledge gives you confidence and then gives you the power to own what you're doing with your horse. The Phoenix way gives you that triple trifecta.
Oh, I love it. It's a triple trifecta. Oh my God, I love it. It's a triple trifecta.
Do you like it?
I do like it. It's
I was talking to one of my clients today, who actually is one of our students.
Read mad, not jovial mad.
I wasn't trimming, I have to say. I only go and turn up and help the student. I'm the handler for the day. It just came up.
Triple trifecta.
And I thought triple trifecta, and I thought that just says it all. But without all of those triples and the three together, it falls apart.
So what do you need to do? What do you need to do? Become as educated as you can. And then,
of course,
Gary and I say this all the time, don't trust us if you don't want to, if you don't believe us, because you've still got gremlins ticking away in your ear. Try it on your horses. Find out. Do it the right way, and your horses will tell you the truth. Honestly, they will. And you just have to have that knowledge. You have to have that knowledge. Get on the 15-day challenge, because it will change your life. It will change your perspective on life. If we're not already doing that already, change your perspective on life, and then once you get onto the 10-day, which is all about trimming, and Gary going through all of that with you, you don't even need to trim. You just need to know, because you need to know. It's all right, Gary. You need to know when somebody turns up and goes, right, here I am, picks the foot up, and they go to rasp or get their nippers on the toe. You go, stop. Don't do that. Why are you doing that? Well, that's what I do. You go, hang on a minute, P3's just back there. Don't put my horse on its sole. It's not meant to walk on its sole. That's bad. That's what I want. I want you guys to change the world. We are just the facilitators. You are the ones that are going to change the world. Please, please do that for us.
Horse owners are going to be the ones that change the world, not us.
No, please do it for us. All right, we're going. Bye.
There's one thing we've got to answer. Anne Frank's coming. When is the 10-day being released? It's already released. It's ready. It's available. It's available,
Alison, you're not another one that bought it and I haven't opened it up, or have you not got it yet? Let me just have a.
Are we finishing as we started?
We're finishing as we started, with Lindsay screwing it all up, probably. She has bought it. Okay, Alison. Right, hold on. Right, well, we'll do it right here while we're live. We are live. Bought it. What do you mean bought it but not got it? Hold on.
So she's bought it, but she hasn't got access. That's what she needs.
Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Krista, she's coming to see us, Gary. Krista's bought the 3-day course. She's coming to see us. I don't know where.
Oh, fantastic.
I see it, Alison. Right, hold on. Da-na-na-na, magic, magic. Here it comes. Alison's going to get 10-day any minute now. Here it comes. Right, Alison.
Live support desk.
Live support desk. Live support desk. Go and have a look right now in your emails and tell us before we leave you if it has arrived and you can begin. Is it there? Come on. Krista's
can't go without Alison saying that she's got access.
See you, Krista. See you at Goulsworth. I can't wait either. It'll be an absolute hoot nanny. It'll be. We have such a laugh. We have such a good time. You are gonna love it. But all of you doing the online ones, that's almost yes. Live support. All right, we're off. We've gone mad. We'll see you tomorrow. Can you do the 10-day first? No. Who said that? No. You can't.
That's Rebecca Davis.
You have to do the 15-day first, my lovely, because it sets the foundation. So you have to know that first.
It's layered learning. You can't. It would be impossible to get as much as you get out of the 10-day challenge if you don't do the 15-day challenge first.
We'd love to, Vivian. Yeah, that's right. We'd love to, Vivian, but it's legs. If you can get a venue and you can get a bunch of legs, we'll come. We'll go anywhere where we can get legs. Woo! Right. Bye-bye. We're off.
See you tomorrow.
Like a, bad smell. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Speak for yourself.
Bye.